We are back. Rush Limbaugh here, serving humanity. America's truth detector, doctor of democracy, and America's real anchorman. No, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think. Romney was being interviewed by Brian Williams. I saw the video of it this morning, and he had one of the greatest subtle put-downs of Brian Williams. I'm trying to remember it while I was finishing my riff. And it was something about Brian Williams. I'm not going to be close here. Well, I may be close, but I don't remember it verbatim. But Brian Williams asked Romney, they're in London, Romney's over there. By the way, Romney is telling people, I'm not sure they're ready here for the Olympics. And UK officials are not happy about this. They're responding back at Romney. But Romney's got experience. He knows what being ready for the Olympics is and what it isn't. Anyway, he asked Brian Williams asked Romney something that had one of its components the mention of a bland, dull, boring individual. And Romney said, well, you already have a job. To Brian, and Brian Williams got one of these forced smiles on his face, but you could tell he didn't appreciate the repartee. He didn't take it as good-natured humor, which I'm sure is the way Romney intended it. No, I don't remember. I shouldn't even brought it up since I can't tell you specifically what it was. Oh, here it is. Williams asked Romney, the Republican Party's presumptive presidential nominee, if it's true he's seeking an incredibly boring white guy for a running mate. And Romney replied, well, you told me you weren't available. And Brian Williams gets this smirk of it's a forced smile, like the camera had cut to him. He knew he'd better smile. But there were daggers. There were daggers in his. I thought, what a subtle. Wonder how many people will notice this. I wonder how many people will pick up on it. So it's true you're looking here for an incredibly boring white guy? Well, yeah, but you're not available. That's pretty good. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, great to have you back. Telephone number 800-282-2882. The email address lrushbo@eibnet.com. New polling data is out. And this thing with Obama and you didn't build that and you didn't make that happen, Obama is down now to 35% approval among business owners. That was before July 13th in Roanoke, Virginia. That was before this happened. Now, Trump, let me find the soundbite. If somebody knows what it is, go ahead and shout it out at me. I guess it was 17 and 18. Trump was on Greta Van Susteren last night, the Fox News channel. First question, Donald, the president has said that you didn't build it. And he said that the Romney campaign's taken his statements out of context. I'm curious, though, your thoughts on what the president meant or how you took what he meant when he talked about people not building it. I realize there's more to the quote than that, but what's your thought on it?
It's a very, very tough statement. People are very upset by it. It really has energized a lot of people in this country because maybe the truth is coming out finally about President Obama and his attitudes. It is a very, very hard thing for people that work 20 hours a day, whether it's building a business or just working on jobs where they build great things. It's very hard for those people to take. When they hear a statement like that, it's a very, very difficult statement for them to take.
And Trump, she said, well, are we getting the scare factor from some people? What's the scare factor? It's some very serious times. It makes a big difference whether tax rates are extended or not. What do you mean?
this is one of the most important elections this country has ever had. You started off this interview talking about building businesses and, you know, what the statements were and everything else. The fact is, that is a mindset right now, that we didn't do it, that people that work hard didn't do it. It had virtually nothing to do with them. Well, that is not what it's all about, and that's not what this country is all about. So I think that people are very nervous, and I think they're actually, in many cases, scared. Business people, hardened, veteran business people are scared to see what would happen if Obama gets a second term.
That's no question about it. There is genuine, real fear. And even before the Roanoke speech, Obama was down to 35% approval among business owners. Dawn, would you back up the transcription there to the call we had from Pennsylvania? Because I got emails, as I mentioned, of people who thought that I was mean. Can you back it up or not? There we go. But I was mean to the guy. And I want to read to you exactly what he said. He said, I think the president might have somewhat of a point because of my experience. I worked for the state of Pennsylvania, taking care of intellectually disabled individuals for 26 years. And one of the guys that I took care of, his mom and dad ran a family restaurant, very successful restaurant. And, you know, they told me many times that if it wasn't for the state and for many people like me that helped take care of their son, they wouldn't be able to work 14 or 16 hours a day in their restaurant. And, you know, I don't think it's right to minimize public employees and the vital services that we provide. You know, I was told by these people, a couple people said, Rush, I understand what you're trying to say. Poor guy from Pennsylvania, but why'd you have... Oh, that was me on the transcript. So people thought I was being mean when I reacted. This is the problem. I was passionate. I didn't have a whole lot of time. I had to say a lot quickly before we go into a hard break. But the call really kind of makes the point. Now, this guy, all I did was spell out exactly what happened. This guy worked for the state. He babysat intellectually disabled people. He was paid for it, I presume. Why else was he there? I think what happened was that the business owners were simply, the restaurant owners were appreciative. They were thanking him. They were just expressing gratitude, which is fine and dandy, but that's as far as it goes. Who paid his salary? His salary is paid for by taxes, including the taxes of the people that own the restaurant. Unless for some reason the restaurant owners were excused from paying taxes. So they helped pay his salary with their taxes from the restaurant. But the point is, nobody made him do what he was doing. He chose to go into that. He did not run the restaurant. He didn't invest in the restaurant. He didn't take a risk in the restaurant. He didn't have anything to do with the restaurant. What Obama is coming along and trying to tell people like him is, see those restaurant owners over there? They couldn't have done it without you. And what do you get out of it? Well, you sat around with their intellectually disabled kid while they're out there making millions. While out there using the roads and bridges and everything. And they're and by the way, there's business on them. They probably don't have health care. But I don't want to get sidetracked with that. The point is that Obama is trying to make these guys think that they are responsible for a successful restaurant. Now, nobody can deny we're all in this together. And nobody, at least I'm not, is trying to say anything different than that. But you also don't start assigning credit where it's not deserved. This guy, the guy who babysat the intellectually disabled kid, I'm sure there are other people in society, in business, who enabled him to do what he did. Taxpayers. Everybody going to work paid his salary via taxes. He worked for the state. Where does this stuff stop? You want to start crediting people for things they didn't do. Where does it stop? You have to realize what the objective here is. Obama is not trying to make people feel appreciated. Obama is not trying to say that you deserve more of what you have. I mean, he wants you to conclude that. What Obama is pushing for is the notion that there is no individual anywhere. There's no self-made success. There's no individual success. That there's basically nobody is anything other than a number. And that government makes it all possible. This is tyranny. The dehumanization of a society is tyranny. And what Obama is talking about is the dehumanization of our culture, particularly in the business world. That's why this matters. That's why this is important. We can dissect this policy-wise. We can dissect this ideologically. But I just as soon look at it in real-world terms. This is about denying that people have anything unique about themselves. We're all in it together. Nobody's any different, any better, any worse than anybody else. Government's the great equalizer. Government's the great benevolent. Now, I didn't mean to sound mean to this guy. I meant to sound... When I am attempting to be persuasive, you know what people thought was mean? I'll tell you what people... When I said, well, you didn't have one thing to do with that restaurant. You don't have to say it that way, Mr. Limbaugh. You don't have to sound so... Well, truth is the truth. The people that ran the restaurant. They invested in the restaurant. They had everything in the world to do with it. The idea that they didn't... Why are we only focusing on business people and trying to discredit what they do? What if, let's turn this around. What if I were to say, all of you people that work in nursing homes, you are meaningless, you are worthless, you're no, what makes you feel so special? That's what Obama's doing here to people in the business community. That's what he wants you to think about people who have been successful in business. And I just want you to realize it's not me, nor is it any conservative I know that seeks to denigrate any work at all. We promote it. We want to reward it. We want to encourage it. We consider it valorous, in fact. It is the Democrats, it's Obama, who is attempting to impugn the work of many people, to discredit it, to deny it, and to get people resentful of it. It's not us. It's not us discriminating. In fact, that might be a good word for what's happening. There is discrimination being practiced by Obama at the highest levels of government against people who succeed. Let's take a brief time out and get more of your phone calls when we come back. Don't go away.